Welcome to Beyond Wealth, Success Unscripted with Matt Calnan. Discover the personal drive, professional journeys, and business strategies that have made a real impact. It's success from the inside out.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we're chatting with Sharon Carne, a music expert and holistic practitioner with over 20 years of experience in using sound for healing. She leads the Sound Wellness Institute and created the Emergent Workforce Program to help organizations reduce stress and boost performance. So welcome to the show, Sharon. And do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Thank you so much, Matt. It's a delight to be here. And what I'm doing is something I never expected to be doing, to be honest about it. And it's, I had been on faculty at Mount Royal University for many, many years and in the conservatory teaching music. And at the same time, had a group of adult students, gosh, probably about 20, 25 years ago now, who were really wanted to learn how to perform with more confidence. So I ordered every book on stage fright that I could find. And we practiced in coffee houses and art galleries. One of the exercises that worked really well to distract that critical part of the mind was to imagine a color while you're performing. And every time we did it, Matt, every time we did it, somebody in the audience got the color. And for me, that sparked a curiosity. What on earth is it about sound that communicates like this? So I started in libraries and in the internet, and eventually ended up traveling to the United States to study with two of the sound healing pioneers, Jonathan Goldman and Tom Kenyon. It lit such a curiosity that it led to years of personal research and then the study with these two people. And it's interesting how word gets around a university. Not a few months after I got back to my teaching at the conservatory, I got a call from the director of the Integrative Health Institute there. She says, "Sharon, I hear you're into sound therapy." And I said, "I guess so. It's become a personal passion and research that I've gathered many, many years of information by then." And she asked me to create a program as a facilitator on a study on stress that the Institute was sponsoring. And sound is extremely effective for managing stress. So I created the program. It worked really well with my participants. And a month after that, I thought, oh my gosh, Sharon, this is an invitation from the universe you just cannot say no to. So I created Sound Wellness a month after that. That was back in 2008. And no business experience, nothing, and no network, nothing. So it's starting from scratch, learning, a big learning curve. At the time, I was in my late 50s. And so it's almost a retirement project. And the evolution has been fascinating, learning how to help sound wellness find its place in the world, and me as a part of its guide. And that led eventually to the Sound Wellness Institute. And the Institute, one of the challenges about sound healing is that the training is all over the map. And so it's not accepted as an acceptable modality by most professional organizations for practitioners. And I thought, that's got to change. That's got to change. So my husband and I worked together on Sound Wellness, and we created the first competency level certification in Canada for sound healing training, and focusing on practitioners, holistic practitioners like massage therapists, holistic nurses, energy healers, those who want high quality, reputable training. We also approach the largest national organization for holistic practitioners, professional organization, for formal approval of all our programs. And they went, yep. We took them a 300-page proposal and a box full of textbooks I've written for it. And so it's been a fascinating journey. I am so grateful for that. It's filled a hole for people who want professional level training in that. And the workplace stuff is a whole other journey that has been fascinating too, and is still evolving, still not sure where that one's going yet. The holistic practitioner part has settled into where it needs to be, feels like, but who knows? Business is always evolving.
Yes, yes, that it is. Can you, so maybe I'll ask a couple questions on this, but so right now it's considered a holistic medicine or holistic, sorry, what would you call it? Would you call it like therapy or?
Well, there are two different words that are used. The field is still expanding, and there isn't really a confirmed definition for it that
Mhm.
everyone agrees to. So, sound therapy is will use specific frequencies like tuning forks and those kinds of things. Sometimes devices bringing sound to the human body to help it stimulate its own healing ability mostly. And then the sound healing part is a little more the energy healing part. The National Practitioners of Canada Association is the group that we approached, and they put us in the energy healing category. Now, that said, the field is all over the map.
Mhm.
So it was something that it fit in their definition and brought sound healing to that professional level for them.
Okay, interesting. Is there is there scientific research behind all of it? And
Yes.
maybe explain that, like from a high level, how does that impact the body?
I can give one specific example, the perfect fifth tuning forks. This is two forks that have very specific frequencies that were studied by and developed by Dr. John Beaulieu, who is one of the pioneers of sound therapy. He's also, he has a PhD in music therapy, which is a very different field, and also is a naturopathic doctor. He received a $1 million grant to study the question whether or not a sound can stimulate the nitric oxide cycle in the body. Now, nitric oxide, not many people know about this, but nitric oxide is a tiny molecule with the biggest job in our body. It's involved in every metabolic function we have: digestion, brain, heart, respiratory, everything. It's a signaling molecule that says, okay, go there, do this, go there, do this. And if we're stressed, if we're ill, if we're under pressure, that cycle is depressed. It's a natural cycle. And so the medical community had done enormous amount of research to find a medication or a supplement to bring nitric oxide to the body because it's so important. So they tested the sounds. They pointed the vibrating ends of the tuning forks to cells in a petri dish. And they also had them by human beings' ears in the study every single time. 100%. It stimulated the natural cycle in less than 30 seconds. Incredible results. And so we bring those forks and also another set of forks to be used on the body that also stimulate the cycle and also help releasing muscle tension, joint pain, all of that massage therapists love these tools. And so they save a lot of work on hands for massage therapists because the sound can get into the deeper into the muscles than the hands can. And that helps prepare the body. Having a sound tool like these tuning forks is really, really helpful to with massage therapists in particular, with helping being very, very effective, getting muscle tension reduced, joint pain reduced, and then bringing in the manual part of the massage too. Really, really superb tool for massage therapists.
Mhm.
So that study really helped us to understand how sound is incredibly supportive for the human body. And in the conclusion to the study, they were studying to three very specific sounds and found them incredibly effective. Now, in the conclusion, they said, we suspect that many other sounds will also naturally stimulate the nitric oxide cycle.
Right.
With the supplements and the medication, there are problems, as with most medications and supplements, of overdose. And when you bring a large amount of a material into the body has to figure out how to deal with it. Stimulating the natural cycle has been a perfect solution. Now, because sound is so natural to the human being, I call it food for your nervous system. Like food for the body, we have junk food, we have good food, and we have superfood. It's exactly the same with sound. When sound goes through you, for one thing, and as it goes through you, it affects your nervous system. Your nervous system responds with the release of hormones. And if it's junk sound, then it's going to be stress hormones. If it's good sound, like wind, water, birds, or your favorite tunes, that's going to be dopamine, oxytocin. It's going to be immune system boosters. With super sound, like these tuning forks, they'll have a very specific response, like the nitric oxide cycle, that really supports health.
Mm.
So it's an exploding field, and the science is. I wish we had a lot more funds to support the research, like John Ballew's study. It would be great to have that. We don't at the moment. There's some finding out how that nervous system responds in particular, because sound is so natural for us.
Yeah, yeah. This leads to actually a lot of questions that I've been kind of writing down here. First, I want to know what a bad sound is. Is that like when your partner's yelling at you?
Yep, that one, also traffic noise. You can
Okay.
Google the studies in the European Union by traffic noise. They've studied it extensively, and traffic noise increases stress hormones, and
Wow.
also stress hormones, when it becomes ongoing and chronic, creates heart disease, for one thing. So they have actual numbers on how many people have died from heart disease because of the traffic noise. So junk
Interesting.
sound, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Sirens going by is a quick one, but
Yeah.
jackhammer, construction noise, junk sound. Now, one
Interesting.
person's junk sound is going to be somebody else's good sound, because we all respond to sound, but we respond uniquely.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's funny as you were describing them, kind of holding the tuning fork to the petri dish and people holding it up. It kind of I got like the Frankenstein vibe a little bit. That must have been a little bit funny to watch the first time, but
Actually, it's fascinating, Matt. We've been to many trade fairs over the years, and we've played those forks by hundreds to thousands of years. And almost 99% of the time, there's a big smile that shows up on the face. It's such a pleasant sound. And that 1% is a nervous system that usually it's a result of a lot of trauma, where the nervous system is shifted and can't handle some sounds. Now, with the perfect fit, though, we have pictures of people just going, ah, is usually the response.
like a Zen moment, a Zen moment.
Oh,
Um,
very much a Zen moment.
so talk to me about the workplace side of it, because I mean there's obviously the holistic part and the scientific portion of it, but from a I'll call it like a return on investment side of things, that's I think where the workplace aspect comes in. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Well, the return on investment for a health program in the workplace is at least 30% by Health Canada numbers. It's huge. And in most workplaces, even more. Mental health is enormous. And because something as simple as these tuning forks is something that's in our workplace program, where we get them into people's hands, because not only do they help with that physical health with stimulating the nitric oxide cycle, it also helps with emotional health. Some of the testimonials I've received from people going through highly emotional traumatic situations where it's helped have been phenomenal. Um, and so there's that aspect. And also, I keep getting asked to speak in the workplace. So the people find me, which is why we develop the workplace programs through Sound Wellness Institute, because we're asked for it. We keep getting asked for it. I spoke for the Lunch and Learn for the Canadian Society of Safety Engineers, and I've never seen a group of people take more notes I talked about the perfect fifth forks. There are recorded music that is incredibly effective for background, for keeping people focused, for workplace safety. They saw immediate application for sound healing, sound therapy. Some of the things I was sharing with them that do have some science, some that don't, like Tibetan bowls. They have that response, the Zen response still. However, they saw an immediate application, and they were right. The first question, do you do this in corporate? How do we find out more? It was like,
Yeah.
we need this now. It's fascinating.
Yeah. And do you have that commercialized then? Like, is this something you're actively, like you have a program where you're charging money to go out and
Yes, we're rebuilding the website at the moment.
yeah,
And we had started working with some organizations before the pandemic, and then everything went into pause for a while.
yeah.
And it was great because it allowed us to experience and rebuild some things. Also, one of the communities that has been contracting us is First Nations communities. I was very grateful to be invited to speak at an elders conference in Northern Ontario about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we brought the Perfect Fifth tuning forks. It was a mental wellness team that asked us to come in and brought the tuning forks to get them into elders' hands to use in their communities because they are helpful in shifting the nervous system. So they loved that tool. They loved the sound baths. Of course, that community really
Mhm.
does know sound. We also went back last June and worked with the wellness center, the nurses and the counselors who worked at the wellness center with that
Yeah.
team, with a couple of specific ways to support the communities. So that's one of the places where we've been asked to go in and work.
Very interesting. Yeah. I mean, this almost seems like a no-brainer to me because it's pretty simplistic. And there seems to be maybe not enough research yet to back it up. There seems to be these positive results from it. And it's something that it's not going to hurt you. So even let's say that somebody doesn't believe in the science of it at all, there's no downside, I assume, to this either.
Mm, There can be some
Okay.
downside.
Okay.
One technology company I was asked to come in and work with for 5 wellness days. The engineers, it was engineers, support staff, the front of the business staff, the
Yeah.
receptionist, and they had white noise piped in to help in the cubicles
Yeah.
to keep the noise down. And there were probably 3 of the people in that group who it caused extreme stress. The white noise was not appropriate for them. So they were asking, what can I do to mitigate all the stress symptoms that are coming from the
Yeah.
noise? It's
Find me
it
another white noise to block out the white noise.
yeah, well, actually, there you have to connect with the manager and the CEO of the company and say, "Can I bring my own music in and put either noise canceling headphones, or is one solution, or to bring your own music." Now, every company has their own policy about that, so you have to check about that.
Yeah.
It's a problem. In downtown Calgary, there are a lot of buildings who have cubicles in the offices who are using white noise, and it's not good. It helps some people, but it's not good for everybody.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What can people do on their own, or maybe how do they learn more about this? And what could somebody do? Like, is there everyday tools that we can utilize in this?
Yes, the tuning forks are kind of a specific tool, so we have those on our
Yeah.
website.
Yeah.
However, one of the things, because sound goes through you, your voice goes through you. Your voice actually moves every molecule in your body before the person you're speaking with actually hears the sound of your voice going through the air.
Oh, got it.
So there are some sounds, I call it the sounds, natural sounds of the body that are actually help the body heal and manage pain by stimulating the nervous system to release endorphins and those immune system boosters. And they're simple sounds like actually stimulates endorphins in your nervous system.
Right,
Now,
right.
you can put that on steroids by doing what I call a vocalized sigh, which will stimulate the nervous system even more powerfully. Now, that sounds like, ah. And that, after doing 3 of those, you'll notice a huge difference. Maybe shoulders have dropped, your blood pressure might have
Mm,
dropped a little, maybe pulse went down. That's one thing. Um, there's also, if you go to YouTube or any of your favorite streaming system and type in 60 beats per minute. One of the ways that the human being responds to sound is what's called entrainment. The heartbeat, the brainwave, and the breathing are all affected by entrainment or the beat of the music. You walk into the mall, you can't stop your heart from trying to match the beat of the music. That happens. We
yeah,
can't turn that off. So if you put in 60 beats per minute, that's a relaxed heartbeat by the medical community standards, and your heartbeat automatically tries to match the beat of the music. Now, does it
interesting.
work for everybody? No. Something you have to explore to find what works for you. When you type 60 beats per minute into YouTube, you can get country music, you can get pop, they'll give you a lot of different styles and play with it, try it, make sure it works. Nature sounds is another one.
Interesting. So it's really catered towards what you individually feel relaxed to, or what stimulates you in that way.
Well, also the science of how beat affects the heart. It slows it down or
Right.
speeds it up.
Yeah.
And when you slow down the heartbeat, you slow down the breathing, you're reducing pressure, the stress. When you slow down the brain waves, you're especially in alpha brainwave state. If we're in high beta, which is high stress, then it's like the brain freezes or it's overactive and you really don't get much done. So the trick is to, through entrainment, the heart, the breathing, and the brain waves are all connected. You slow down the heart, you're slowing down the breathing, relaxing the body, and you're calming the brain down. So now maybe you have a little more access to those frontal lobes that can do your work for you.
Right. Right. That's very interesting. I think I'm going to try this for a week. I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe, like, would I have to do it an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 10 minutes a day, just ongoing? What does that look like?
Play with it and see. We
Okay.
also have free download, a 5-minute download of the Perfect Fifth tuning forks that a lot of people have
Okay.
said is pretty effective. That's in our store
Yeah.
under free stuff. And you can play with that too. Do test it. Always test. Because we all respond uniquely, then it's important to test it and make sure it's going to be something that works because you can't take it by word of mouth, really. There is some
Yeah.
science that says, yeah, it's most people will do this. However, you want to see, okay, well, how's it going to work for me?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to give that a shot. I'll report back to you on how I feel afterward. I'll try to take some notes
I would
during the day
love
while I'm
to
doing it.
hear. I'd love to hear. Well,
Yeah.
actually, in our corporate wellness, we give everyone a set of the tuning forks as part
Yeah.
of the, plus a 28-day book to test it for 28 days. And the First Nations community, the head nurse did do it, and she said,
hmm
wow, wow, those were
Yeah.
results. But
Awesome.
she
Okay.
tested it every day for 28 days.
Okay. Well, I am going to do that. I will report back to you. We'll have a follow-up conversation on how that all went.
Perfect.
So what does it look from your perspective over the next few months or year or a couple of years? What are you looking to do?
Oh gosh, we have our business plan on the fridge, Matt. So I'm just going back to, to the business plan. That way we have it front and center. Um, for the next over the next 6 months, my book's been sitting here in this computer for about 5 years, and it's time for it to come out. The title is Please Pass the Calm. And though that hopefully will be out by the end of the year. That's one of my big goals. Also, we're launching the new website for the corporate wellness programs and are happy with what it's looking like so far and building that and making connections. And of course, our wonderful practitioners in the practitioner program, and there's ongoing training for them.
Okay, awesome. If somebody wanted to learn more about this or look at the new website that's coming up or connect with you, get in touch with you, where would they go for that?
The soundwellnessinstitute.com.
Soundwellnessinstitute.com. Perfect. And is somebody able to actually go and like book you to come in at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Like say to their organization or something?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, I have to say this has been a very, very fascinating conversation and certainly appreciate having you on. Like I said, I'm going to try it. I'm going to update you with the results and maybe we'll have you back on another show and go through all that.
Oh, thank you, Matt. I can hardly wait to hear how you did with all the testing.
I will let you know for sure. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today, Sharon. Certainly appreciate it and wish you all the best moving forward.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Beyond Wealth, Success Unscripted with Matt Calnan. Want to be our next guest? Visit beyondwealthpodcast.ca/guest. See you on the next episode.